I thought I was just being obvious, but Senator Heath asked me if I was being clever, and I thought, no, not clever at all. But I thought it would be just great if we started the event, the signing this morning at 10:10. What do you say? How's that? Okay, I'm clever too. We can put that. It was clever too. The first time I ever came to this Capitol was in the company of ILWU leader Dave Thompson. I was just on Maui recently and saw a picture of Dave and kind of the photographic memories of the folks over on Maui. There, Dave was a champion of the underdog working person. And I guess sometimes it's easy to forget or kind of take for granted as we look at the history of work in Hawaii and the struggle associated with it to kind of put it off in an almost museum kind of atmosphere or be able to compartmentalize it. That took place back then. The struggle for being worthy of your labor and being paid accordingly. Sometimes even the stories of the struggles in the plantations, especially as Hawaii moved into an industrial economy, a modern technological urban economy, can seem almost as if it's museum pieces that are being discussed. And the photographs take on a bit of an aura of History Magazine or the History Channel, and has not much to do or any kind of currency in today's world. And of course, that's not true. Not true at all. So in the company of Dave Thompson, I came down and sat in the legislature over in the Senate, and the very first discussion. I was a Greenhorn graduate student at the UH in his company, and he said, "Oh, this is good. You got to listen to this." It was an argument about the minimum wage. Now we're talking way back in the early 1960s, an argument about the minimum wage. And I guarantee you that if you went back and got a transcript of the discussion back there in the early 1960s and took a transcript of the discussion of an argument about whether or not the minimum wage should be raised, it would be almost word for word. The same kind of tired cliches and arguments in opposition. And of course, the exact opposite took place from those who were denigrating the idea of having a minimum wage. In fact, from the point of view of Dave Thompson and from myself and I think virtually everybody gathered here today to witness the signing of this bill, that the idea here that we're even talking about a minimum wage when you're talking about people who are working full-time, when they're raising families, when they have obligations to meet, providing shelter, clothing, food, trying to get a little bit ahead so that they can take maximum use of their laboring efforts and put it to good account with regard to themselves and those they love and care for. That you have to argue about a minimum wage. It has a connotation in my mind, the minimum wage. I always dislike the phrase, the minimum wage. It has a connotation. What's the least we can do to let you survive? I always thought it wasn't a minimum wage, it was a survival wage. And in today's world, that minimum wage is not a survival wage. Certainly not in Hawaii and almost anywhere else as well. And so with the divide, an inequality of income that if anything has been exacerbated in recent years. The question of providing support from the governmental side in terms of what we can expect for our people to be able not just to survive but to thrive, then this argument has to unfortunately be taken up again and again. Well, it was addressed this year, and not everybody can be here today. I know Dwight Takamine cannot be here today, and I know the Speaker of the House is indisposed today and can't make it. Some of the key legislators are all here today. I'm so pleased to see that. The House will be represented by Representative Nakashima, and the Senate by Senator He. And so I want to indicate to you that I'm going to be signing this bill today in the memory of Dave Thompson and all those who fought for and on behalf of those who might not otherwise have had a voice. The role of government, it seems to me, is to speak for those who may not have any other avenue to be able to express themselves. They may live in fear. They may live in not knowing how, or seeing quite clearly how they might take their grievances forward, or what they believe to be what is their due forward. That's the role of representative government. And so this is an occasion, I think, that represents the best part of what representative government is all about. And I do want to indicate, I always try to make it a practice with a bill signing. I find more often than not that if you pick up the paper that day, you'll probably find something that relates to what's at issue. And just and interesting enough, it's called the money section of the newspaper. Occasionally the newspaper editors understand what counts. And in the business section here, money. And the headline here, Neighbor Island economy's forecast to maintain growth. Personal income will continue to improve as jobs are added statewide. This is by the University of Hawaii Economic Research Organization. And just the first sentence, the neighbor islands, which lag behind Oahu in economic growth for much of the past 5 years, have closed the gap and are poised for continued improvement this year and next. In terms of job creation, personal income, gains in the visitor industry will continue. Every island, even the little drawing that's here, represent the various counties and visitor arrivals, payroll, jobs, personal income. Steady growth is the headline. Neighbor islands are caught up with Oahu in various measures of economic growth. This wage raise is coming at just the right time. I wish it was coming quicker. I wish it was coming more quickly. But we're swimming in the water we're in. 100% of nothing is nothing. What this represents is the best legislative effort to try and act on behalf of people for whom this wage growth and this opportunity for growth is going to manifest itself in increasing, actually, economic activity and increasing the capacity for social harmony in our state. So congratulations to those who have seen to it that the bill is ready to be signed. And in that context, then, I'd like to invite up to speak Representative Nakashima and then Senator Clayton He. Mark? Congratulations, Mark.
Good morning. Raising the minimum wage is good for Hawaii, it's good for our people, and it's good for our economy. Money put into the hands of Hawaii's working people will get spent, and it will increase the economic activity in the state. The Reserve Bank of Chicago predicts that every dollar that we increase the minimum wage results in $2,800 in additional spending by that working family. I think that's important and a key driver in being able to agree to the minimum wage this year. I think we did have some problems getting it passed last year, but I think with the cooperation and working together with Senator He, we are very happy to be able to be here today on this historic occasion. Thank you.
And now Senator Clayton He.
Aloha. I'm happy to be here. It's a privilege to stand in front of Guy Fujimura, who Keith Kaneshiro told me he's the smartest guy ever graduated from Farrington. I agree with him. And I want to tell Guy that he was wrong. Sometime during the session, he said to me, I feel sorry for you. You got to work with Mark Nakashima. He said, Mark will badger you. He's stubborn. He's boneheaded. All of these things, and I feel sorry for you. You have to work with Mark Nakashima. But I want to say this very seriously. Working with Mark Nakashima has been an absolute privilege. We couldn't get it done last year. And where we ended last year was $9.25 and a $1.50 tip credit. And some of you people remember that. And I said to Mark at the close of the conference that it's a damn shame that but for the Senate, we couldn't get a minimum wage bill. Remember that? Yes. Yeah. Well, we did better this year. So maybe it was a good thing in retrospect that the minimum wage is at $10.10 and the tip credit is some convoluted formula that the House came up with that I don't think anybody will figure it out. But I also want to say that, in this building, we're up to Nakashima and He, the minimum wage would have even been better. But this is a building built on compromise, and this was the best compromise. Getting to 1010 was not easy. And those of you who were in this building understand that there was a big division in the Senate, and getting it out, really, quite honestly, the difference in getting it out was one vote. That's what it was, one vote, so that we could go to conference. One vote. When Sylvia Luke and her committees sent it to us at $10, most people thought that was the end of it. But in caucus, my own view was if Patsy Mink and Akwan McElrath, and if Harriet Bauslag, Marion Kelly, if they were in the caucus with us, they would have said to keep trying because there's time. And I understand that there were those that said take the bird in the hand. Well, there was still time to go after the one in the bush. And at the end of the day, that's what happened. When I look at you, for many of you, I was thinking about it this morning, how I grew up thinking meat came from a can, not from a cow. No, seriously. I grew up on canned sausage, Vienna sausage. I grew up on canned beef, and canned Spam, because that's all we could afford. My neighbor who's Roy Oshima, he's a farmer in Waihole, a retired post office guy. He grew up in Kaka'ako. He said, I grew up on coral tuna. And that's what local people do. We make ends meet. And that's what, to me, this bill is about, is to give people an opportunity to step up, because most minimum wage earners are second income earners. Most minimum wage earners are women. 40% of minimum wage earners are homeless. And this is the state with the highest cost of living. So the effort to try to redouble what we could do to even get a dime more was worth it. And there's those who I have believed said, what's a dime? Those are the same ones that go to Costco to self-serve their gas pump because it costs a dime more down the road. That's what a dime is. And quite frankly, if we could have made it more, we would have. I have very confidence in that with Nakashima. But let me end this way. Last November, this legislature passed marriage equality. And this year, we passed a minimum wage bill and conservation on the North Shore. And that's a great way for me personally to say aloha to the Senate. Thank you very much.
I'd like all the other legislators who are here to come up, too, for the signing, if that's okay.
You'll give it to Rena?
Yeah. Obviously, they gave me the short chair. You think you've got everything calculated. Everybody here? Good. Oh, Brick, good. Excellent. SB 2609, Senate Draft 1, House Draft 2, Conference Draft 1, a bill for an act relating to the minimum wage. Approved this 23rd day of May, 2014. Done. Sit down.